G'day YouTubers and thank you for tuning into today's, well, it's going to be a very different video on YouTube and it's going to be a bit of a very special vlog. Okay, so I nearly thought I wasn't going to bring out this vlog, but I've actually heard something from like yesterday has been totally and utterly extraordinary. I've seen this absolutely infamous YouTuber and this guy's got like 30 million subscribers, and guess what, his name was, he's from Ohio, he's basically from Ohio in the US. And guess what? He went to Malaysia. He's actually one of the most famous and one of the most craziest and one of the most ludicrous YouTubers I came across so far recently in history. In fact, I might have actually heard of the guy about 2 years ago. And his name was IShowSpeed. Do you remember the guy when he played like Talking Ben? And his bursts, his outbursts, his outrageous bursts, like his outbursts, and his tumultuous screams were just completely and utterly, outlandishly, influentially crazy for the sake of his content being made on YouTube. In fact, his popularity gained so far, I think it was around August of 2021, maybe around late July of 2021. In fact, it was just so crazy. In fact, I'm going to play 2048 and I might actually chat about his recent streaming to Malaysia, and it just goes to show you that how many people you seem to be fairly attracted can actually create one of the biggest mistakes you have ever created in your life, and possibly like one of the most influential, successful events to actually host. Although not really, despite being, although despite how I perceive it as being widely successful, I think it's going to be totally and utterly kind of a bit on edge as I talk about this absolute ludicrous person, IShowSpeed. Basically one of the most famous YouTubers in the world, totaling at least around 30 million subscribers. In fact, he might actually jump into 31 as, this video is made, and perhaps even more so, time will eventually fly off. It'll just go off like a rocket. And I'm actually really shocked because everybody knows IShowSpeed has been one of the most famous people on YouTube for very wrong reasons. His dramatic and short temper, I think, his outburst behavior has been the subject of his video content on YouTube, and it's like, obviously I'm just trying to tap the screen a little bit because there's a little bit, I really don't want saliva on my screen as I'm talking here in this video, but what I heard was some very just dramatic results. And in fact, what I actually saw was IShowSpeed going to Malaysia, and he literally went into my home country, like, my parents' country, my family country. And I was like really, really shocked, and I thought to myself, what the hell is IShowSpeed doing in Malaysia? And I saw him, he went to, many places, like he went to that Chinatown in Malaysia, there was Petaling Street. He also went into like the KLCC Aquaria and the Petronas Towers. Man, frick. Bloody hell, man. And because of the crowds, I remember that IShowSpeed was actually being very sympathetically apathetic. He was showing signs that he was very sympathetic to that crying lady. I think probably because of those humongous crowds. And it just goes to show you, no matter how famous you get on YouTube, you seem to get lots and lots and lots of people watching. And the other problem is that when you really get famous, you also have the higher potentiality to record something that you're literally doing something that is actually embarrassing, not just for the audience, but also for you. So it just goes to show you that being famous is the complete death trap for society these days. No matter how filthy rich or famous you are going to be on that death trap. And I mean, and this is actually kind of a bit of a big warning. Okay, so literally, like, whenever I watch, like, IShowSpeed's crazy gaming videos on YouTube, like I've watched those Talking Ben videos and those Five Nights at Freddy's videos, he is insane. But his insanity helped him to actually gain millions of views and millions of subscribers. This YouTuber is an absolute, is an absolute, how would you call it, ludicrous. I can't really want to say anything bad about him, but he is an absolute gem. He is a ludicrous gem. Like, whenever he makes content like that, he is absolutely crazy. And every time when things go wrong, and whenever there's some sort of turmoil, he would always start raging. He would pull like funny, silly faces like this. Now, I haven't got a very powerful eye muscle though, so that's why I can't do this. I can't really squint my eyes like that, because obviously I would probably kill myself. But yes, he nearly died, okay? IShowSpeed nearly died of a sinus infection, or probably having his penis being injected, or ejected, I guess, without being too explicit. So yeah, obviously, let me just go ahead and talk about the Malaysia stream that IShowSpeed has visited to, and we'll talk starting right now. So yes, strangely enough, I've been thinking about IShowSpeed, this very famous YouTuber, and in fact, his popularity, it wasn't from YouTube, it was actually from TikTok, and there was also this amazing live stream app called Twitch, and I think I was actually tempted to actually have a go at it, and I think I've just heard he was also allergic to seafood. Definitely one thing I can really remember. Yeah, he tried nasi lemak, he tried durian, and because of those crowds, it was causing a lot of chaos. And it just goes to show you that people really love him because of his insanity and his fame, and that insanity helped him to gather, it actually generated a massive cult, following an increase of views and an increase of subscribers, and because of his violent and very dramatic behavior, it really has promoted him, and I think that really does send up some very insinuatingly bad news. Whenever you start to behave very inappropriately online as a whole, and I think this is a very big dangerous risk for many Gen Z type people as well too, and often the most dangerous things can often, I think that's very wrong for me in my opinion. Like, I can make a serious rant behind this, but I can make this one short and sharp. Often the most dangerous acts can often gather the most views and the most dangerous amount of subscribers, and actually the most subscribers. It can unfortunately deliver the wrong sort of people. I think that's what I realized, and it just goes to show you that unfortunately, being popular on YouTube or TikTok or Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or Patreon or whatever social media app like you use, like Tumblr for example, can actually attract the wrong sort of people. And I think that's a very classic example. But what I've seen, he went to the KLCC Aquaria, which was the aquarium I went to. I actually went there with my cousins. And it was just so insane, like, when he showed up and he was making like a legitimate message that he was doing some sort of weird Southeast Asian tour. Everybody yelled out, IShowSpeed! 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 He was doing some weird, I don't want to say anything rude on my YouTube channel, otherwise my YouTube channel will just be blocked in a sense. Now, lucky for me, my YouTube channel is not that, I'm just straightforward, doing my best not to, like, get too involved into his content. Like, I mean, I do watch his videos, but his insanity is straightforward, the epitome on what today's YouTubers are like, and what today's generation's dangerous risks are like. And I think the saddest aspect is that we are taking the most dangerous aspects of life. I think he was being very unsafe. In fact, because I think, well, what can I say about? And I mean, it wasn't really just his fault. It was actually other people who are just straightforward breaching into the streets and spilling out into the streets. Thanks to his fame, I think it really did cause a massive stir up. So the more you look at how famous IShowSpeed has become, the more audience you start to pick up, especially developing countries like Malaysia and Indonesia. And more recently, his recent visit to Cambodia, another Southeast Asian country similar to Thailand. And even more so, he has also been to the Philippines when he tried cat meat. My God, his reaction was just shocking, bro. I mean, man, half of the time I just really want to watch his streams, but then why would you even watch that? Because when is it the best time to watch his videos, and then at the same time when you can watch his videos and then not to? And when you decide not to, like, when is it very appropriate? Why is it okay to make videos on YouTube like that when you have, a very huge fan base, and then people are spilling into the streets, and then they'll just cause havoc, and then people are just straightforward taking your space, and they just want to, and you just want to tell them to just get out of the way because he needs to get across, get through a safe traversement, or a safe traversing sort of journey in a sense. Like, I know IShowSpeed is very famous, but don't be too tempted to do all of his stuff, okay? So, you will fall into the same trap as him. So, please listen to me, because this is very serious. And I know it's excellent to see a famous YouTuber coming in to Malaysia. And I mean, I know I just don't want to embarrass the Malaysian audience who are watching this video on YouTube. And I just don't want to embarrass, all Malaysians alike, because it's their country. Their country has the right to just watch on what they see and what they show and whatever content they love to watch. It's their priority to get the light-hearted, in fact, the very insane entertainment they deserve. And I know, of course, it's always very important, though. It's obvious to know that on YouTube there's a lot of humor involved. Everyone wants to have a bit of humor. They like to have people laughing if they can. And bro, that's just how it is. If you want to make some very insane content on YouTube, please do so. I mean, his YouTube channel has really gained just the center of it, and because he gathered such a very high center of attention, this is just beyond crazy. Obviously, I think this YouTuber really, I feel like he needs to stop. Because even though he's visited Malaysia quite a lot of times, in fact, it's just amazing. Somehow, I have to say, how the heck can, let's just say, a certain person, like a ludicrously wild-tempered person from Ohio, can gather, 30 minutes. His insane his crazy behavior has, it has led to a lot of censorship and banning across, in various social media platforms such as Twitch and YouTube or TikTok or Instagram or Facebook. I can't really tell whatever social media he uses. Like I said, I have to say his YouTube video involving his trip to Malaysia has been very, very, in fact, has been very ludicrous. Somehow it was impressive, but I have to say at the same time it was just very impressive for the wrong reasons. And I know what was going on was a complete and utter insane it was a dramatic sort of drag. Like, it just went for a very dramatic sort of move. It was just, I'm really surprised, and whatever move he has done, I mean, it wasn't just that abrasive, but I mean, wow, I just couldn't believe it. I have to say, there were lots and lots of people spinning into the streets, taking photos. What that kind of reminds me of? It actually kind of reminds me of when people were playing Pokemon Go back then in 2016. When that Pokemon Go craze came up? That was when the utter shoot was happening. I don't want to swear here, but that was when the utter shoot was happening. I say shoot as in the other word, okay? So, because I can't swear on my YouTube videos, otherwise I get into some very hyper trouble, and also my videos will get demonetized. That's one thing I have to be very careful in today's YouTube these days. What I do love, watching his insane videos on YouTube, but hey, just be very careful, please. Please listen to me. I know you guys are straightforward into IShowSpeed, but whatever you're doing could potentially be harmful. And I mean, I could potentially say he's like Mr. Beast, or what's another person I could really name as Gen Z people? Case O. Do you remember when Case O was a big, insane person? Oh yes, Tyler One. I remember Tyler One. He's autistic and dramatic and insane. But that just goes to show you how, streamers, in particular the Gen Z streamers, can actually be very temperamental at times, They're very famous. I'm actually one of them. Gen Z people. And, it's very hard to pretty much have this very weird encore sort of, it is what it is. Like, people spitting out into the streets, and then you getting that fame, and then after watching the stream, I bet they'll be watching more of his videos and then rewatching it for the insanity and the wide center of attention he gets. And by the way, I've got a meeting at 10 a.m. to do some maths, okay? So, no distractions here. I know it's fine to make videos about a certain country in which a genuine audience really loves watching videos on YouTube for something that is not too overly abrasive and or cohesively. I don't know how much I could really say about IShowSpeed, that one famous YouTuber well known for his overly dramatic behavior, and that kind of shoot, as long as I'm not swearing on YouTube. That's it. You know, I could really talk more about it, but then I could definitely just say it's just way too much. I could definitely say that's like way too much, and you know, I really don't understand why his content. You know, it's kind of amazing. Like he's done like, you know, at the very new end. I used to remember seeing that that sort of Fast and the Furious type thing at the new end of the video. Where was it? Was it Sepang International Circuit in Malaysia, not far away from the airport? Man, that guy is just crazy as hell. Like his content is just wicked. I mean, bro, man, I just saw him doing the weirdest shoot ever in his life. And I mean, that is just crazy, bro. I mean, man, you know. And it just goes to show you that as we've just grown up on the internet, you know, we didn't have crowds like, it just goes to show you that we Gen Z people are straightforward connected within the internet. And, you know, we've got a lot of live streaming ever since like the late 2010s and stuff. You know, oops, sorry, I've just whacked the tablet camera and stuff. It just goes to show you that for a young person, and what's even more interesting is that he's also about 19 years old, so he's actually technically younger than me. Like, you know, 5 years younger than me. Crikeys. I can't believe this, man. Man, I would love to see him go to Australia or Indonesia. I would love to see how his wider audience will bring, you know, when he goes to these countries. Man, I could definitely say, give me a new life or give me a break. I mean, man, how could I really be, you know, insinuated by this guy on YouTube? Probably because his legendary cult was all to do with his ludicrous behavior. And it wasn't just his ludicrous behavior, but he also, you know, started doing streaming. And streaming made him very popular. And actually, he used a broad and wide range of social media apps like TikTok and Facebook and Instagram and Twitch. And even in this case, Patreon or Tumblr. I might be totally wrong, but maybe that's the case that's why he was just super popular the whole time. Okay, so being popular on YouTube may seem like a good thing, but then the more you realize of just how many people it gets, especially when they spill out into the streets, just like the Pokemon Go phenomenon, it can be a real concern. Okay, it can be a very dangerous and uncharted piece of territory. Whatever you do can be extremely, you know, it really is dangerous. And I think overall, you know, it can be hyperly sensitive. And I mean, it's, you know, of course, I think the main point with the Malaysia stream that iShowSpeed was hosting was not just part of his Southeast Asian event, but it was also there to bring Malaysians, to give him the opportunity to meet him after watching his insane videos. Like his content of insanity is just beyond crazy. Like, I have to say, this is crazy. Like, today is just, you know, it's very powerful behavior. Just absolutely tumultuous and just beyond, you know, just a huge congregation of people meeting up with him. It's crazy. And I tell you what, it gets wilder. It gets wilder and wilder and wilder. Beyond this point, saying this, oh my goodness me, the more I think about iShowSpeed, the more I think this generation is straightforward becoming, you know, we are more into a very digitalized sort of generation, and that generation has straightforward, you know, it's seen its resilience and relevance, but it's also seen its complete, you know, its complete controversies and downfalls, and its complete conflicting stories. You know, it's like that. And I mean, I don't want to really compare other generations and say your generation sucked because you're absolutely lazy. And it's like that with many Gen Z people, and other generations are like apart from Gen Z. You know, it's inside and outside of Gen Z. So don't really take Gen Z people as a misogynist type person who would otherwise be, well, let's just say, cumbersome to do stuff in everyday life. And that's why I like to do so. And most importantly, because I failed this whole... Oh, it's still going somehow. Crockies, I don't know how am I actually getting along, mate. Yeah, you know what? I'm actually dead. Anyways, so in order to learn the very simple mistakes about streaming and live streaming on YouTube or Twitch, here are some lessons. Of course, as I can say this again, you will get a massive center of attention, and because of today's generations and because of today's technology, which has become extremely scary these days, it's probably best to say that no matter how famous you have become, you would probably do the most embarrassing video content just like me, okay? I've done this, the adjustment of brightness. It's crazy, but I mean, anyways, I shall leave this video and I shall get on with my work because I've got a meeting to catch up later on at 10 o'clock for my maths exam or my maths level 1 program I've got to do later on by today and stuff. So anyways, if you really enjoyed in this amazing video on YouTube talking about IShowSpeed's video on YouTube about his visit to Malaysia, live streamed in real life, which lasted for almost 5 hours, please give this video a like, subscribe for more videos in the future. And as always, thanks so much for watching and bye for now. And if you really want to watch his utter shoot he has done so far on Malaysia, please do so, because it is just absolutely crazy. Like, he's done a lot of burger trying outs, he's done a lot of burger taste tests, you know, he's done a lot of gatherings and stuff, and the mall was chanting IShowSpeed. It was just absolutely crazy. I think he's been to the Pavilion Mall. Look, that was the video I was talking about. Cat meat in the Philippines. And there's this major stream. Oh god. Yeah. That's the problem, like, whenever you become too famous, you will receive lots and lots of dire consequences. Like, this car accident during a massive live stream. This just goes to show you how dangerous it is to pull off on making videos like this. Don't be tempted to make videos like this, or else you'll lead into some very serious trouble and consequences, either for yourself, and not just for yourself, but also for other people too. I dare you. Be very aware on YouTube and other social media platforms these days. Thank you for listening again, and goodbye.